Exactly, yes. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the 13th part of Career by Design. I can't believe it's been so many weeks that I've been delivering those trainings. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to share the material for today, and I will ask you please to let me know if you can see what I'm sharing. I'm going to do share. And then, as always, please do talk to me. Let's have a discussion, because I'm sure what I'm going to share today is not a rocket science. It's a very, very important subject of transitioning from manager to executive. I suppose journey that some of us don't even notice, and by not even noticing this shift, not that we don't notice the promotion, but we don't notice that there is a shift coming or happening, which we need to manage carefully, because if we don't, we'll set ourselves for failure. So hence the topic today, from manager to executive, and how to navigate this journey. All of you on the call know me, so I'm not going to go through this self-promotion slide. And it's here if someone wants to have a look at it. And you also know about the Career by Design series, which is the umbrella topic for everything career management, and specifically for women and high achievers, every week on LinkedIn, 12 o'clock UK and 1 p.m. This is to empower your career journey and achieve long-term success and fulfillment. Okay, so I'm really, really interested in your take on it. I know Eva has to jump off after 30 minutes. So if there is anything, Eva, that you would like to comment on sooner and before you jump, please do. I would be interested in your view on this journey, and what you believe is important, what's not, and what is perhaps challenging or difficult, and why we distinguish at all those two roles, if you like. Yeah, career by design. I'm a fan of proactive approach to designing our careers. I have recently been approached by a 21-year-old girl who said, I'm at this point in my career now, which is at the very, very beginning, and I wonder if it applies to me. Or is it not too soon, and maybe at this point in life I should be going with the flow, because otherwise when I have my own career in mind now with the end game in mind, I may be missing opportunities. And I loved this discussion, because my view on this is the sooner the better, and it's never cast in stone. Therefore, if we need to be open to opportunities, we just need to know if those opportunities are the right ones for us. And I really love that this girl was thinking about it that way, because it's a huge advantage to have this kind of awareness at such a young age. Okay, so let's move on to this navigating leadership transitions topic, from manager to executive. And the objective, of course, is to understand the foundation and what is the fundamental difference between managers and executives. And what are the key strategies to navigate that transition and put set ourselves for success at the executive level? Vision and strategy, team building and leadership, and personal development, which is last but not least. They are only, I would say, umbrella terms, and we will unpack them during this presentation. Once again, please do chip in if I'm forgetting something, or if there is something that you don't agree with, or you have a view on, which I'm sure you do. Yeah, foundations. So what I believe, again, it's my take on things. What I believe it has the foundation and the most important part of shifting or going from the managerial role to executive role is this mindset shift, because we are transitioning from tactical execution to leadership, visionary, being having a vision. So it's this typical tactical versus strategic. And especially if we are no longer like individual contributor and going to a leadership role, this is perhaps the hardest shift. We are going from managing people to inspiring people. We are no longer just a line manager day to day. It's our responsibility to guide and develop people to success, both of the company and their own. And third, last but not least, again, is problem solving to opportunity creation. And I'm not saying, like it's easy to say, to put those distinctions on paper and say that's black and white. It's not. Like, there will always be tactical execution, and managing people is important, and problem solving, of course. But it's the subtle difference is that instead of focusing on the tactical ones, we have to focus on the strategic ones, which is apart from managing people, problem solving, and so on. We are in particular at the visionary leadership to inspire our teams and create opportunities for growth, both for the company, ourselves, and the people who we work with. So that was the first thing, foundations, mindset shift, which I must say is difficult. It's really, really hard because we simply need to, as Vi was saying at the very beginning, almost like unwire what we have wired in our brains. So we have to move on a different level, and it's really, really hard to shift our mindset in that way. Yeah, but it's very important. So if we are developing a strategic, this strategic mindset, vision and strategy are important. And yeah, that's my favorite topic, because oftentimes I can't say how many times in my own career I heard about, you need to be more strategic. Oh, you have to be more strategic, Isabella. And I never understood what it meant, like being more strategic. What do you mean, actually? Like, all of us understand being strategic, but if you try to unpack it and understand it on every like task or action level, it means different things to different people. So my tactic was, whenever I was told you need to be more strategic, I was asking back, like, what my line managers, what do you mean by that? What good looks like for you? My understanding of being more strategic is to understand the organizational vision and mission and objectives, of course. So no longer look at your own team or your own mandate, but making sure that your own mandate supports the larger mandate of the firm. So once you understand that, you need to know also within the company, you also need to be mindful of the outside world. Industry trends, competitive landscape, economic factors, everything that constitutes this big picture. And then on top of that, create actionable strategic plans aligned with organizational goals. So what I'm trying to say here is that we don't wait for someone to give us those strategic goals and to guide us every day. Of course, we need to know what are the overall goals of the company and the team, and how the team can or should contribute to the overall goals. But the initiative is on our side as well, to know what's going on and to be proactive in delivering the mission. So we are no longer just tactically executing. We are contributing to the vision and mission of the company. And I think it's one of the biggest shifts, perhaps, because it requires a much bigger picture and a different view. And of course, optimize resources allocation for maximum impact. And it's a really good topic. I think it almost is worth a separate webinar altogether, because many times we, like all of us who have been in the corporate world for a while, we have seen this all kind of fights for resources and roles and how many people in every team and so on. At the strategic and executive level, you need to be mindful of how many, the resources that you have, how you can use them in the way that you don't jeopardize, if you like, the entire budget of the business area. And And mindful executives will not be fighting for yet another role and yet another role, because they need to know that every new role is a cost. And so this, of course, it's a simplistic way of looking at it, but they need to be able to balance those two views, their own objectives and the objectives of the company, and where to meet in the middle somewhere. Yeah, performance management systems to track progress. This in big companies is always in place. Point is that at the executive level, it has to be aligned with the overall budget of the company and the overall measurement system of the company as well. So we need to know what the KPIs are. We need to be able to add to those KPIs our own KPIs if they are, to make sure, and also to make sure that they are aligned. Because at the end of the day, at the executive level, this is what we will be measured on. That will be our own success criteria, if you like, performance measurement. Now, so we spoke about foundations, which is the mindset, right? I didn't put it as the first key like strategy. No, it's a fundamental thing to have. Mindset shift from individual contributor tactical execution to being at strategic level. The first step, as you can remember, was this vision and strategy. The next step is team building and leadership, and especially building high-performing teams. So here I will be talking about those two angles, two aspects of it. And we already mentioned transition from managing to leading and developing team members. Oftentimes people just ask about what it means. What do you mean by that? Like, managing is making sure that people are there to perform their tasks. In some companies, it is to making sure that they come in on time, that whatever overtime they are doing is legitimate, and that all the sick leaves are justified, and so on. And I'm oversimplifying, but that's what it is. Leading means making sure that the team that you have, that you're responsible for the team that you have a vision for the team, you have a vision for almost every single person on your team. And if you can't, because you can't, like if you have, I don't know, 200 people, but it's never 200 people reporting to you directly. So you need to make sure that everybody who reports to you has a vision for their own reportees, or whatever is the correct word to it. It's to have the idea of, where do I want to go with these people? Do I know what their objectives are, personal development objectives, and not sticking to your own plans. Like a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, some managers and executives will stick and hold to one person who delivers for them, and are not able to let go and help them develop, because if they let them go, they let them go. So they feel as this is their personal failure, that this person is leaving. But at this level, you should be able to let go. You should be able to let go, and this should be you should be proud of it, that someone is going further up the organization, for example, from your own team, or outside of the organization, if this is what they want to do. Foster collaborative and accountable team culture. Yeah. And I think for women, it's perhaps a little bit, I dare say, easier, maybe, collaborative culture, because that's what we have in our DNAs. Accountable team culture. So again, it's all about leading, making sure that the team is a team and not a bunch of individual players, and they are accountable for both themselves and their team and whatever they deliver for the company. Yeah. This is a really interesting one. Empower team members through effective delegation, because, like, think about it. How many times you have seen micromanagers? People who will not delegate, or if they do delegate, they will still be checking on you every single minute of the day, or they will be checking on what you have done, or they will be correcting your emails, or they will want you to send this to them first before you send it to someone else, or who will tell you, you're not allowed to contact my boss. You need to go through me, and then I will go to my boss. In extreme examples, I've seen it in one of the companies where I was working, where the entire team, and we were at director level, so we were senior people, we were not allowed to contact anybody beyond our own boss. Nobody in the organization, and this was completely ridiculous. But it was this was the demand, I would say, and of course a culture that I would never be want to be working for longer. Investing in team member growth and development. This one I mentioned, and I was talking about the first one, and the last one, I suppose, is the performance measurement, right, Eva? Is this what it is? The last one? I wonder if Eva is...
Sorry, I needed to unmute myself.
Eva, after investing team member growth and development, the last one is performance review or measurement on this slide. And the reason why I'm asking is because I can't see it.
Oh, okay, but it wasn't visible on the screen at the moment when you were asking.
And now you see that's transition from managing, foster a collaborative, accountable team, and so on. And it finishes with
measure team performance against
exactly. Yeah, I was just checking if I remembered. And I remember last time you were helping me, so this time I ask you to help me again with that. And it's not visible on the screen. I can understand because of this thingy here, which is the Zoom. Anyway, thank you, Eva. Team building and leadership, that's exactly what we are talking about. And the first one was about building high-performing teams. And now we are talking about influencing and building relationship. And this one is perhaps one of the top ones when we are going to the executive level, before we even go to executive level. And the reason why we are going to the executive level, the reason why we have been chosen, is probably because we have very good relationships across the organization at various levels of the organization, up and down and horizontal, and that we have good influencing skills. Because remember, I'm frequently saying that it's you need to be able to influence people, because the higher you go, the less it is about your performance and the more it is about who you know and what kind of relationship with you have with people. And again, don't get me wrong, it's not about you don't need to perform well anymore. It's an absolute foundation, but focusing on delivering only is a mistake. And then again, I read, I think yesterday, in yet another book, that this is what we intend to do, focusing on performance only and overvaluating expertise. Yeah, so it's important to cultivate strong connections with internal and external stakeholders. And internal would be, as I said, every way around you, not only up, but also down and horizontal. Yeah, this one is very woolly. Develop political acumen, navigate organizational dynamic. But it's really, really very important to be able to read the political environment, if you like, and to know the political dynamic in the organization, to be aware of what's going on, to be able to to read between the lines, to understand what people are saying, and to know who makes the key decisions. This is really, really important. And if you over concentrate on delivery, you have no time to explore this, if you like. You don't have time to understand what's going on around you. And this is perhaps the first step when you can fall behind, because other people will be going along with that and you will not. So there will be at some point in time, you will see that you are not up to date with what's going on around you. It may be the first reason why you could be passed over for promotion, for example. Master effective communication and persuasion skills, of course. Effective communication, yeah, concise. We are often, as women, we are often told that we talk too much. We repeat one point many times before we finish. And I'm guilty of that, definitely. Like, I sometimes don't know where to stop, but I'm conscious of that, and I'm trying not to. And especially at meetings with at the executive level, like, you need to be concise and up to the point, and make sure that the point is made and heard. Yeah, active listening, diverse perspectives. That's the high quality leader, understanding diverse perspective and making sure. This was something which was really difficult for me at the very beginning. And I think it's a lot related to making sure that you don't take things personally. If you make an effort to understand diverse perspectives and understand that it's not about you, it's about the point that you make. And if you try and to understand why people are making the point, what is their view, what is their perspective, I think it's much easier to first of all to understand it and not being offended or angry or unhappy, and then to build a consensus and something in between that people will value. And then and of course it then leads to trust and rapport through empathy and compassion. And again, it is important at every level of the organization. So it's with your peers, with your subordinate, and with people who are higher than you in the food chain. Yeah, so that was about team building and leadership, influencing and building relationships, and before that we were talking about building teams and leading rather than managing. Yeah, this one I talk a lot about, and many times I just mention this word legacy because it sounds incredibly serious. And at one of those webinars, I also said that once I published an article on LinkedIn about leaving a leadership legacy, and it proved to be controversial because there were people who were saying, no, it's not about legacy. Legacy is too serious, and it's not what we should be concerned about. But if you think that by legacy, what we mean is what we contribute to the organization, to our team, and beyond it, to the community, is our legacy. So how we are remembered by what we have delivered, how we have been developing people, what we pass on to those people as values, as the way to develop others, and so on. That's the legacy. You don't need to, I don't know, write a book that will be then read by everyone on the planet, and this is your legacy. It would be great, right? But what I mean here by legacy is something that will make you a person, or whatever you deliver, something to remember. And I think it's really, really important. And in that, there will be two ways of looking at it, because the managerial focus will be daily operations, team management, problem solving, whereas at the executive level, it will be strategic direction, organizational performance, and external relationships. So when you think about legacy and what you develop, what you deliver for the organization, you need to focus on the.
I don't know. I'm not supposed to be acting. If you don't know, you leave it.
Hello. Yeah, someone is stuck here anyway. Yes. And ladies, you are incredibly quiet. Please do share your perspective with me. And if there is anything that you don't agree with, or anything that you would like to discuss, please let me know.
I wanted to share about legacy, but I raised my hand. I think you don't see the
I don't think
participants
so.
when you're sharing your presentation.
Yes,
So
I don't. So they just shout, and then I
I
will.
just shout, me.
Please now, yes.
Legacy, fantastic topic, really so misunderstood. And like any communication, it's not science, it's art, and it's heavily reliant on our allocation of particular meaning to particular terms or words. And legacy is one of those examples where it means different things to different people. And unfortunately, as you confirm through your experience, legacy is usually perceived as something material, pompous, something, you know, that we don't have a direct relations with as leaders or senior managers, and we kind of leave it to someone else to build the legacy. But what you said, I agree 100% with you. It is not about what we build or physically leave behind us that is tangible and usually linked to material goods. It is our positive impact on our environment and other people. I particularly experienced that when I was developing my organization, because it was mainly to do with people, how they progressed, how they developed their personal and professional skills, how they climb up the ladder of career or success, or how they reach their own goals, and sometimes they are not aligned with our organization. What you mentioned before, I really respect that. If your team member leaves because they've outgrown the role that they are holding in your team, wish them well. That's your legacy, that you led this person to progress, to success, maybe somewhere else, but that's the legacy. If you could impact people positively and they live in your memories and they have something to thank you for, that's the best legacy. And everyone, whether leader or not, can leave that legacy if they choose to. So it's not about, you know, building a fantastic team of 50 salespeople who smash the financial goal, etc., which is also a fantastic legacy. But something that is not always very obvious, not always measurable in financial terms, something that is of a great value, but it will be judged subjectively by each individual that is part of that legacy, whether it's valuable or not to them. As long as you understand that it's building legacy is actually a gift, then you won't be disappointed when it doesn't take the shape or form that you intended, as long as it benefits others. That's just my philosophy for legacy.
And it's beautifully said. Thank you so much, because it's a really, really beautiful way of looking at it. And maybe, just maybe, it's the wrong word for it. Maybe that word is confusing, and legacy, because maybe it sounds serious and very big and so on. And maybe that is why people are confusing it with everything else.
Yeah, it sounds materialistic, doesn't it? It sounds like there has to be something that, you know, you can see, touch, or perhaps that someone will, you know, put the finger on it. I know in politics, we talk about legacy in terms of, you know, policies and transformation of this or the other. But at the end of the day, it's still about something that you can see, point to, and have evidence of. Sometimes your legacy is something so intangible that lives in people's hearts and minds.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Vi, for sharing. And Sylvia has a view as well, or a question.
Thank you very much. I just joined in, and I was so interested by what you were saying about building a legacy. And I am one of those who think that mentorship is the way to build your own legacy. mentoring young people and also a reverse mentoring help you to build the people not only in the company, but as a human being. I still remember 7 years after I left my company in Singapore, someone sent me an email and said, thank you. Thank you for your passion in leading us. Thank you for showing us the real value of women in the company. Thank you not for entering in politics in company. Because of you, today I know how I can be a better human being. And for me, that is invaluable. You cannot put a price on it. That is building a legacy. And I think we build legacy by doing what we expect people to be doing, not just shouting at them, but really being a role model to other people, doing what you think that they can do to better improve themselves, and also give advice as much as possible if you are asked for. Because in companies today, you have too many politics, and we as women, we are not always rooting for each other, but we need to do those things for us to build a sustainable leadership. That was 7 years after I left the company. I had this mail, and I will never forget. I knew that I have done something good. Thank you. It was just my 2 cents on this.
Sylvia, thank you so much. It's absolutely beautifully said, because it's, as you say, something completely priceless, something that will stay for you forever, with you forever, and something that will stay with you forever because you will know that you have changed someone's life. And that's absolutely incredible. I agree with you that there is, in the place where there is too much politics, there is less time or attention to build people. But I would argue that building people, developing people, empowering people helps not only those people, but also the company, because happy people, as naive as it sounds, but people who are happy, who know that they can develop in this place, that what they deliver counts, and who are happy and proud with that, they are the best employees. And as we said, and then if they eventually want to go, they want to go, but they will add to the company, and they will thank you as their manager forever. They will be thanking you forever. They will remember you forever. And that's the best, I think, definition of legacy. Sylvia and V, thank you so much for your contribution. I love it. Yeah, and
May I ask something? May I add something here, Isabella? Sorry,
Absolutely.
we're just talking a lot about this. So I just would like to shift a little bit this theme of legacy. I fully agree with what you said. I'm not going to repeat everything, but perhaps seeing it under another angle, perhaps, is just this legacy is also extremely valuable for designing your own career, according to me. When you leave some legacy, you make an impact on people, you just show your performance, you show your leadership, etc. I think it's extremely beneficial in building your own career, because you will be able to rely on those people, to grow, to go further, etc. So I just putting it more in a kind of selfish way. Of course, it's yes, we're doing it for good. We're doing it because we like people, we like leading. But on the other side, it's also very interesting, because once you're going to reach out to these people who you helped, they're going to help you in return. So it's going to help you even further to grow your career, to expand your skills, to expand your networks, etc. Because you're going to be able to rely on them to help you. Just imagine you lose your job, you just need your network also to help you to find a new job, for example, or to find new opportunities for business, etc. And what you built is going to directly serve you selfishly. Okay, even if the first, of course, objective is not to be selfish, because we like it, to leave something. But it's also very interesting from, selfishly for its, one's career. So just wanted to add that, to bear that in mind, because we are talking about designing our career. So we also need to be not only giving, but also we just also to build something for ourselves. So wanted to add this kind of a little difference in terms of approaching legacy.
And I love your perspective, Kinga. Thank you for sharing. Because yeah, absolutely, as you say, we should be selfish. Absolutely. If being selfish doesn't mean to stumble on others, and to to climb the corporate ladder at the expense of other people, if it means that you do it helping other people and at the same time, it's absolutely, why not? Like, we should put ourselves first, like, with all due respect and everything else. And but that's exactly what we also need to build our own career. And this will go, as you say, a long way, both ways, I think, that people who will, like Sylvia, who you will help, will remember it forever, and they can do something for you going forward and at some point in life. That's one thing. And another thing is this something that you can showcase in your own CV, in your own portfolio, and when you are applying for other roles. And you can definitely deploy it to other roles as well as one of your key and core skills, which is a transferable skill, of course, like relationship building, leading people, not managing people, but leading people, helping them grow and empowering them. And if you have examples, then it's beautiful. Oh, thank you, Kinga, for this selfish, quote unquote, perspective, because that's exactly what we what we need here. We need to be real. That's exactly what we need in our career. We need to think about it from
Yes.
all angles. Thank you. I love this discussion. Thank you, ladies. And do, as Vi said, do shout if I can't see your raised hand, and please do chip in, because you have so much to say, and it's so much more interesting when you share your stories and your perspectives than my own. Okay, so let's move on now. Yes, creating a sustainable leadership legacy. This is what we touched upon and discussed. Here, I would like to go just very briefly through the core executive responsibilities, which we did talk about at the very beginning: strategic planning, strategic thinking and strategic planning, financial stewardship. This is something that I haven't mentioned before, but perhaps I have when I was talking about the budgets, but this is what will be expected at the executive level. Stakeholder engagement, whether it's internal or external, and do remember, everyone is your stakeholder. People you lead, people who appear to you, and people you report to. And of course, organizational culture, and understanding the organizational culture, but even more so, shaping the organizational culture. Because think about it, what we said, like, for all of us, it's important to empower, to lead, empower and develop others. If that's important for us, we should be able to shape the culture of our organization so that it's in the core of it. And it's not only us. So that the culture of the organization supports empowering and developing others. Yeah, so this, the next one, which is a core aspect of this shift from manager to executive, is personal branding and executive presence. Now, topics that warrant separate sessions: personal branding and executive presence, both of them. But I want to mention here briefly, because it's very important at the executive level. And it's two different things that are very compatible with each other. One goes with the other. And at this level, we should be mindful of both, because personal brand, it's, you know, this saying which everybody knows: you do have a personal brand even if you don't know what it is, and if you don't know about it. Every one of us has a personal brand. The point is that we should be mindful about what it is and what we want it to be. This is what people are talking about when you are not in the room. About you when you are not in the room. This is how people see you, how people perceive you, and especially going to the executive level. Like, if your superiors, if they don't see you as an executive, because they think you don't, they perceive you through the personal brand that they put on you, you won't get it, no matter how good you are. And then executive presence, or gravitas, on top of that, it's also very important. And I was working with a lady who was getting or having those, you know, really good performance reviews, and everything was okay, but she was not getting promoted to the level that she wanted. And her boss was always telling her that all is good, all is good, all is good. But she didn't understand why she was not being promoted. So when I encouraged her to openly ask A, for promotion, B, why am I not being promoted, she learned that she doesn't have the gravitas. So although she's really very good, her boss thought that she didn't have the gravitas to be promoted. And by this gravitas, what he meant was she didn't have the currency with the senior management. They didn't see her as senior enough. They didn't see her enough to be you know, seen at this level. And that was one of the reasons why he was not even giving her enough possibilities or opportunities to present in front of the senior audience, because he thought she doesn't have what it takes. Now, it was good to have this very honest discussion with this line manager, because she really didn't understand what's going on. She was, like many of us, over delivering. And she was promoted. She was eventually promoted, and she's a different person now. So it's all that we can develop, but we need to understand, do we have it? And she didn't. This was her blind spot. She didn't know. Not that she didn't know it wasn't important, but she thought she had it. But they thought she didn't, and that's enough not to get promoted.
Isa,
Yes.
this is a very good example of when you don't know what you don't know, and that's why confidence, which is a feature of a senior position holder, not that they don't have self-doubt and self-criticism, but they have enough confidence to actually be straightforward and ask direct questions, or ask 360-degree feedback, which can reveal the blind spots. And had she not had your support, she would be probably stewing in that misconception of self-perception. It's just one of many tools that senior managers have in their toolbox to look at aspects of their career planning, and then plan accordingly. That's why it's called career by design. So thank you for bringing this up and sharing this example.
Thank you, V. Spot on what you said, spot on. And then on top of that, what's also important, and what was showing in this example when I worked with this lady, was that a lot of senior managers, senior managers, we are only humans, are uncomfortable to give, say, negative feedback. So that was exactly the case of her line manager. He could have told her much sooner. He could have worked with her to develop that. He could have given her more opportunities. And this is back to what we are saying about legacy and how we develop people and so on. He didn't, because he felt uncomfortable to pass this feedback on to her. So it is in our responsibility to sense the environment and to be mindful of what's going on. And if something doesn't stick, if something is, you know, not, the gut feeling is telling us that something is not right, it is not. And then we need to take this responsibility of asking an open question. And then, as V said, working with a mentor, with a coach, could help a lot, especially if it's someone from outside of this organization, because it's not politically charged then. Thank you, V. Thank you so much for your contribution. Executive presence, of course, so that's what we talked. That's exactly what V mentioned. Ability to inspire confidence, influence others, and command attention, right? So the executive presence adds to your personal brand. You want people to see you as someone who is confident, who is able to influence others, who, whenever in the room, commands attention. And again, as V mentioned, it doesn't mean that you have to be like superwoman and never lose your confidence and so on. We are only humans, and all of us have doubts. But if we don't believe in ourselves, no one else will. Yeah. So it's important to develop a strong professional image, which is aligned with with organizational values, but it should be aligned with our own values first of all. And then make sure that our communication skills are top-notch for impactful presentations and communication as such. Yeah, and to project authority. And I do believe that neither confidence nor charisma is something that people are born with. For some people, it's more natural than for others, but it can be learned. And it definitely helps at executive positions, of course. Yes, leverage personal branding opportunities for career advancement. That's exactly how you will be building it. How people will see you, perceive you, and perception is everything, unfortunately. How they perceive you, this is how you will be judged, and this is what will be offered or not to you. And then again, it's quite easy to get lost in it and maybe not understand. And this is why we all need to be very mindful of what's going on around us. And if we have questions, it's always good to talk to our line manager and to understand what good looks like for them. Yeah, this one I'm not going to go through in details. I love this slide, although it's really, really very busy. But it clarifies again why personal branding is important for our careers. It's for us to stand out and get noticed, have this expert status. This gives us opportunities or opens some doors to some new opportunities, and of course, ending up with career advancement. We need to be able to negotiate with power, another thing that is very, very important, but not very common, if you like. And we need to have it gives us competitive edge. Of course, years ago, I think maybe, I don't know if it's still the case, but definitely years ago, I hope not anymore. Women thought that in order for them to project confidence, to have a good executive presence and to be seen as such, they had to behave like men and be very, ruthless in the way they built their career. And I'm sure we all know such women. And if it works for someone, fine, but I'm absolutely sure that it's not what it takes to build gravitas and executive presence. We don't need to fake it till we make it or to pretend that we are someone we are not. Quite the contrary. I think we can build on our own authenticity. Yeah, overcoming challenges and building resilience, something really, really important, hard. Common challenges we all know faced by women executives. Perhaps the one that I mentioned have just mentioned is a good example that women, no matter what women do, if they are, this is a classic example that if men are behaving, very, very confident, they are just confident or expressing their point. And if women behave the same way, they are aggressive. So these are the, common kind of patterns and social norms and things that women have to, are challenged with day in, day out. Yeah, so we need to first of all have this big self-awareness and know what is our biggest challenge, and it could be within us and it could be in the outside world, and to develop strategies to overcome those obstacles. Again, here I think mentors and coaches are really, really good, especially a mentor within your organization, higher up in the food chain, and ideally outside of the reporting line, and also someone outside of the organization, because they will be able to help you build this roadmap to overcome obstacles. Someone you will be able to share with confidently. Seek support and mentorship. That's what I just mentioned. And do prioritize self-care for overall well-being, because it could be very, very overwhelming. And you don't want to jeopardize your health, your own life for your career to succeed in your career. Ideally, you want to be those two to be balanced. Yes, learning from failures and embracing opportunities for growth. This is easier said than done. We all should be framing failures as failure is only data. next time I will know. I know it's hard. It's very hard. I have to tell myself every time I fail, our failure is not a failure. It's a next step, or it's an opportunity, or it opens doors to something else. I do believe in that, but when it happens to me, it's very, very hard to embrace it and go on, you know, with my life to the next opportunity. Yes, this legacy we spoke about already, so I'm not going to go through it again. This is all that you ladies mentioned: long-term impact, developing future leaders through mentorship and coaching, fostering positive and values-driven organization culture, and balancing work and life. And this positive impact, I think this is the legacy we can maybe call the positive impact. Yeah, but I know that's we are almost on top of the hour. We only have 3 minutes left. I want to go very briefly through a couple of things that I think matter as well. This is what I called going beyond the obvious. So to me, what else matters on top of what we have discussed? And if you have any other thoughts, please do share. To me, the less obvious aspects of leadership transitions is emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Self-awareness is really, really important. You need to read the dynamic of the organization and what people are not saying and not saying. Understanding your own emotions and how they impact your leadership style. Developing empathy and compassion for team members and managing stress, building resilience. It is not an easy journey going from manager to executive and further up. So it will be useful to have some strategies to manage stress and building resilience. But understanding your emotions and how you react and so on is the first thing is a key to it, I would say. And the next less obvious aspect is this work-life integration. And the reason why I'm mentioning this now and saying it's less obvious factor is because when we are transitioning from manager to manager to an executive, we tend to forget about everything else and we put our own life on hold because it's such a very pivotal moment in our career. And then guess what? We are getting the role and we cannot stop because that's exactly the time when we need to show that we are worth of this role, and it never stops. So it's really important to set boundaries at the very beginning and to balance this role with your personal life, because it will come and bite you later if you don't. You need to have a strong support system, family and friends, and also within the company if at all possible. So that I would say this is really, really key. And then again, you can think about it, oh no, I will think about it later when I get this promotion and then I will settle in the role and then there will be time to slow down. No, that may be too late already. It may impact how you behave and how you react to various situations, and it may bite you on many levels. Another less obvious thing for leadership transitions, I think, is this ethical leadership, something that I really wanted to mention. Navigating ethical dilemmas, everything from people to, from people to financial aspects, to the community, to the environment. There will be a lot of things that where you will have to make a decision in your own head if you want to go for it or not. And sometimes maybe there is a point beyond which you don't want to go, and you need to know where this point is. Yeah, building trust and credibility, and also fostering a culture of ethic and integrity for me is absolutely key. And the last one, hopefully, is diversity, equity, and inclusion. That in the executive world, absolutely creating inclusive workplace culture. And here, this illustration I'm showing, you know, different women of color and different races and so on. But I also mean other diversities. There are so many diversities, like even people moving from country to country. This is already a diversity, working in different culture. But of course, there is more. And leveraging diversity for business success, I do believe that's key, because all of us, we all think differently, and that's the beauty of it. And of course, addressing unconscious bias and discrimination. And the last one is, I put it as the last one because it's again less obvious. It's not soft skills. It's embracing innovation, especially now. The further up you go, the more important it is to look beyond the obvious and to understand the impact of technology on leadership, like digital transformation, culture of innovation, especially. I think this is really, really important. Now, so what got you here will not get you there, said Marshall Goldsmith, who is one of the best known coaches on the planet. What made you successful to this point will not make you successful beyond this point. A different type of behavior is required, and this is hopefully what I delivered today. Yeah, and the recap is here. We spoke about understanding differences between managers and the executives, and we talked about those strategies, which are strategic vision, high-performing teams, leadership influence, personal brand, and beyond. Yes, resilience, so important. So I will finish here, ladies, always at the point of consider journaling or coaching to gain clarity on your own objectives for your career journey. Yes, how about you? Ladies, any questions or comments, please? While you are thinking about comments, I will go to the next slide, which I love and I'm sharing always. Career planning is an ongoing process, and it's important to remain proactive and intentional about your career growth, because if you don't do it, someone else will. If you have any questions, please let me know. Do contact me offline. I would love to hear from you. And with that, yes. Any questions or comments for those of you who bared with me till the very end?
The only quick comment is thank you for this valuable content and for opportunity to share. And it's always beneficial from my perspective to talk to other people and learn from them. So I particularly am grateful for that opportunity, because I stepped out of corporate world, and now my immediate professional colleagues are in a slightly different area and place and point in time. So thank you, Isa, for creating that space.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you so much. And I do value a lot your perspective on many, many levels. And you yourself have so many years under your belt in the corporate world that it's always very, very useful to see your perspective. Thank you so much, Vi, Kinga, Abiola, Sylvia, Frances, and hopefully see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Isabella. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you.
Thank you, Abiola. Bye-bye. Thank you, Sylvia.
Bye.